Hey.
All right. Good morning, everybody. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and kick it
Mhm.
off here. Appreciate y'all coming on again. Shoot a text to somebody who needs to be on this Zoom this morning. This is I said it was for new age, but we open up as this not just new ages. I say if you haven't capped that EXP, jump on this Zoom because a lot of valuable information. We got a couple of rock star ages, around and looking through the room here, and we have some more probably joining in a few minutes. They can give some tips and things like that. You can learn from anybody, guys. It doesn't matter. Everybody learns from each other. Iron sharpens iron. So I'm gonna do a quick little recap here. Um, where can I recap from? Just a quick. You know what? We'll pick up. We'll start off at ratified contracts, but just want to, I guess, hit a little bit of mindset before we get in. And let me turn my camera. A little bit of mindset, guys. It's 2022, November 2022. Man, it's the 15th, so half the month is gone already. So half month left. So kind of a situational awareness of kind of where we are right now. Coming down to the end of the year, we only have a few weeks left, less than 2 months. We want to have a mindset that we want to finish strong. That's what we were talking about Dream Team yesterday, finishing strong this year and leveling up, taking this month and a half to really level up on the things like we're going to talk about, your contracts, your agreements. We want to go into 2023, not having to worry about, not being worried about how to fill out a contract, how to write a contract, how to submit an offer, how to do a buyer agreement, how to do a listing agreement. We want to take this time to really, really level up, having that mindset like, hey, I'm learning this stuff now because 2023, I ain't playing. Anybody feeling like that? I ain't playing. I'm going to hit this thing. I want to hit the ground running. And for many of your Dream Team, we're already hitting the ground running. We already have the mindset that we're in 2023 right now, because what we do right now, the business, the activities that we do right now is already impacting 2023, that first quarter. You got to start thinking like a business owner. This is how top producers think. I'm already in the first quarter 2023. My activities right now are impacting my 2023. Y'all, is that right, y'all? Our producers,
That's right.
producers,
Yes, yes.
your
Absolutely.
activities right now, guys. A 90-day cycle, guys. What you're doing now is impacting you 90 days from now. So we're already technically in 2023. You got to get that mindset. So you got to start putting in the work, leveling up to get all this administrative stuff, contracts, agreement. We want to get that, just out of the way. We don't want that blocking your business. We teach a class about what's blocking the flow. There's a flow in real estate, but if there's things that are blocking your flow, like deep down subconsciously, you feel like, oh, I really don't know how to do a listing agreement. I really don't know how to fill out a buyer agreement. I'm kind of just doing it afraid. Well, that's kind of constricting the flow. That's constricting the flow. We want it to be like a gush, guys. We want it to be like a fire hose just coming, your business just flowing to you. You have no inhibitions, no fears, no doubts or anything. Does that make sense, y'all? So
Yeah.
this is why we started this academy, because we want to get our new agents up and running. We don't want y'all worried about how to do anything. With the Dream Team, you have the ability to just reach out to anybody on the team. You don't have to worry about contacting the broker, contacting the mentor, contacting, what do you call that, Keller Williams, Jimmy, the production something person.
The team leader.
Your team leader, and
Yeah.
your team leader.
Yeah.
Of the broker, yeah.
Yeah, productivity coach and all that stuff, PCs and all them people there. And you don't have to worry about that, guys. You got a family. Is that right, Tanya? I don't know if Tanya can talk. So she's been cheering on the Dream Team.
I'm driving, but yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, Tanya,
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you, Tanya. Tanya, can you tell some of your experience?
Yeah, no, I just want to say absolutely. I do feel like there's a
Uh-oh, you went out, Tanya.
second. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you now.
Okay, great. So I'm sorry, what did you say?
just your experience since being with the Dream Team, you're getting help and support
Oh yeah, I mean, it's
within
been
the team.
amazing, and that's why, yeah, it's the dream team's been absolutely amazing. I've reached out um to a lot of people, and it's so consistent. Everyone's so helpful, and everyone's so willing to give whatever they have to give and whatever they have to offer. And it's so many nuggets. So, I just feel like I'm blessed every time that I reach out to someone. Um, you know, I think in my case it's just a tad bit different because I have the two listings and a buy. So for all those to be my first, it can get a little interesting. And I think this is under 90 days.
Wow.
So but I'm thankful, but I will tell you that, just being able to reach out and just have those conversations and just and also being very transparent about, okay, I know
Yeah.
we learned this, but there's still a few things. And people are like, oh, no problem. Okay, let's
Right.
go through this. Okay, let's meet. So again, I'm just super thankful. Yeah, I cannot say that enough. And then just there's just so many people share their own, because this is everybody's own business. Everyone has their own way of running their business. And
Mhm.
so it's really nice to be able to see what other people are doing, what works for them. And so then that's how I'm able to help myself. That I'm like, oh, okay, I like that, I'll use that, or
Mhm.
I'll do it this way. So I'm definitely building, but like I said, I didn't have it's a blessed
Yeah,
thing, but I
it
just
is.
didn't have the same, I'm learning as I'm going. I was laughing with Linda, and I say, I think I've done half of trainings, not because I wanted to, but it's just how the time is going right now. But
Right,
thank God
right.
for these meetings here that we're having, these calls, the Monday, the Wednesdays, the Fridays. So I can still in my mind, I'm still getting everything that I need to get through what I need to get
Absolutely. Awesome, Tanya. Good. You're killing it. You come out the gate just with listings and buyers. That's the best way to learn. So awesome. We're excited for you. Good, good, guys. Well, awesome, guys. So definitely, you have the help, you have the support here with the Dream Team, guys, and also with the Mighty Networks. That's our platform that shares everything, all the information. We created a new area just for New Agent Academy, folks. So make sure you join that group in Mighty Networks as well. All right, guys. So let's jump right into it here, and we're gonna pick up on new ratified contracts. And guys, this is brand new, our new academy. So this is we're kind of building this out as we go. So I'll probably be adding information to this as we talk. But what is a ratified contract, guys? It's when all parties are in agreement. You submitted your offer. We talked about that last week. You submitted your offer. Maybe you've gone back and forth. You guys are going back and forth on price. You asked for some closing costs, 3%, but they will only do 1%. You asked for 10,000, they only do 5. Well, you've gone back and forth with all the negotiations, and now all parties in agreement. And now what we have is what is called a ratified contract. Your clients have signed it. The sellers have signed it. Everybody's initial every change. Write this down, guys. Every change on the contract needs to have initials by both parties. Let me put that in here because I don't want to miss that next time. Y'all got that, guys? All changes needs to be initialed by all parties. You can't just change something and your folks sign it, initial next to it. The sellers have to initial next to it also.
Can I make a quick point about that?
Yes, sir.
A contract is not ratified until that actually happens. And the reason why that is extremely important is because it could affect your days. It could affect your contingency days. Practical example, I had a ratified contract on the 23rd. I'm just going to use that because I can't remember. On the 23rd. However, this is where it becomes key. The agent on the other side, I represent the seller, but the buyer's agent on the other side did not receive the transmitted contract until the 24th, the day after.
Mm.
So even though it was on the ratified contract that it was ratified on the 23rd, but for whatever reason, it didn't get transmitted through the night or whatever. This happened late at night. So this is probably something that you need to be aware of if you're doing this late at night. It did not ratify, it did not get through to them until the following day. Believe it or not, because of that notification, one, because the agent acknowledged the fact that they didn't get it until the 24th, even though it was on the ratified contract, we could not hold them accountable when it came to their EMD.
Wow.
Because when the contract is ratified, let's say you ratify a contract on the 1st, your day starts the following day, on the 2nd. So if you have a 5-day ratification or contingency period, it starts on the following day. So in this case, we ratified on the 1st. The first day of that ratification is on the 2nd. So now you have 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So technically it's the 6th. If they don't perform by the 6th, I can enforce it. However, he was able to prove that indeed he did not get the contract until the 2nd, which now means the 6th is no longer the day, it's the 7th now that is the day.
Yeah.
It's your 5 days, whatever period you're using starts on the day after is ratified. However, he was able to prove that. So just be very careful of that.
So I was just going to say, I don't know if there's any Georgia agents, new agents on here. So the contract here in Georgia is a little bit easier. We have to put the binded date on it. At the bottom of the last page below the signature, there is a binded agreement date. So basically, after all signatures have been received, the last person that has the contract in hand binds what we call binds the contract. That's a crucial date because that's when the clock begins. You put the date and the time on that contract on the binding date. So for any Georgia new agents, please make sure that you bind your contracts at the end of once you go on the contract.
That's good. Good. Any other states? Jason, is it any different up where you are?
No, it's
Gotcha.
same as yours.
Okay. All right, guys, good point. So we basically hit that. I moved that one up, Jimmy, because that is critical. Ratification date and contingency time frame start now, guys. After all initials, all changes, signatures, boom, that ratification date. All right. Delivery. And again, I added that one after Jimmy's comment. Delivery is so important. So you got to email it. You got to deliver. Y'all remember that from the test? Delivery. So you got to deliver. You got to email that contract to the other party after the last initial and date it. Make sure if you're the last one, boom, you got to send it back over. You just can't sit in your email box. You got to send it back over as soon as possible. So that can happen, guys. You got to be careful of that. Okay. And now let's talk about title company, design a title company. That's usually in the contract as well. They say buyer can choose whatever title company that they want to use. And we also have a lot of split settlements. Split settlements is where buyer has their own title company.
Right.
Seller has their own title company, different title companies, and they're working together. So let's talk about that title company. Anybody, any comments on title company?
Use the title company that you trust, that you've done business with. Even if the other side is selecting theirs, if you can, encourage them to use yours. If they do not want to, stick to yours if you don't know that title company, if you don't feel comfortable with it. Be very wary if an agent wants to hold it in-house. So when you're doing deals with certain companies like Samson's, Redfin, just be aware of that. Nothing against them. They're not bad companies. I'm just saying be aware. Just have a conversation, find out what their processes are, and make sure that even if you ultimately have to do that, you hold them accountable. Remember your contingency days. Put it on your calendar so you can know how to follow through, because it's happened that they will either not collect that money, the AMD never went in, So now if there's a problem with the contract, now you can't protect your client, or you're fighting to protect your client. Avoid those pitfalls.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, good morning. Hey, thanks, Jimmy. I was just going to ask a question. What are some of the questions that you possibly want to ask, or things you're looking for when searching for a good title company?
Good
What-
question.
Yeah. Well, for me, you know, it kind of comes at like you guys have been seeing the ones who've kind of been around supporting us. I like access to the attorneys. I like convenience. I like to know that they have multiple offices, or they will travel. They will come to where it's convenient for my client. I don't want to close on the house down here in Stafford, Virginia, and the title company is way up in Fairfax somewhere. I like convenience as well, but I also like them to have processes. I like them to have support. And like Jimmy said, they need to be a well-run machine. It's not a mom and pop. Mom and pops, there's some great mom and pops out there. Don't get me wrong, some smaller ones, but I like a support system. I like my transaction coordinator. She'll tell me, it's like, right, I've dealt with these people before. They are terrible. So they have their processes down. They have a support system. I have access to the attorneys. That's important for me. That see, every title company should have an attorney there, and you have access to them to kind of help mitigate and kind of help with difficult situations that may arise.
Hey, Rod, can I
Yeah.
say this?
Mhm.
Rod, for new agents, don't overthink things. Just take
That's
referral.
true.
I mean, for you to say good questions to ask, just ask
Yeah.
the agent in your area who they use and use them.
That's
And
it.
then you'll develop people that you foster relationships with.
Yeah.
And so for Georgia, we're an attorney state. We do not use title companies. So I have really good attorneys that I have developed. My favorite attorney is not far from me. I love using him because he is absolutely thorough. Now, he doesn't have like all the bells and whistles. He's a smaller single attorney in there,
Mhm.
but he does an amazing job. He and his team of 3 do an amazing job with closings. I've used bigger companies like Wiseman Law. I used them for one of my first closings with my seller. They didn't pay off my client's house. I was like, what happened? You
Oh,
know, and my client called me, and it was a clerical error. But you know, it's just understanding. Just ask whoever they use. Don't overthink it. I think as new agents, we're trying to reinvent the wheel. And I learned early on, hey, I call people, hey, who do you use? That's the easiest question that you can ask. Don't
That's-
overthink it.
Absolutely.
that's good, Natasha.
I have to chime in on that because, you know, one of the things that we always stress, you know, when we're mentoring new agents is that you need to build your circle. You need to build your group of people that are going to support your business. And many times, yeah, like Natasha said, you're reinventing the wheel. You don't know if that title company is familiar with EXP processes. You know, if they have that back office support, please take the recommendation from another agent. It doesn't hurt. And you can always build your team later if that's someone that you don't want to work with in the future.
Mhm.
So just a thought.
I asked that question because like I say, I'm a lone agent down here. So, you know, we don't have, I don't have any other agents that I work.
Even in work.
Where are you?
You in Huntsville? Were you Huntsville?
Yeah, he said in Alabama.
So my recommendation to you, sir, would be this. Find out, and I'm going to use this word, Google your top title companies there and go pay them a visit.
Yes.
Build a relationship. That's it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Is that Alabama? Is Alabama a title attorney state like Georgia?
He might not know the
wh-
difference.
whether it's a title state or an attorney state. just
Yeah, but what
find
I'm
out
saying too, you can always reach out to
Find them
the brokers.
and just
Your
have a
brokers and your
conversation.
associate brokers can help with that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, go and workplace. There should be a group right there in your city because that's a fairly large area.
I think we
Mhm.
lost him. I think we lost Farmer. I think he dropped off.
Yeah, he dropped. Okay.
Yeah.
But that would
Yeah.
be the key. Google it, go find it, build a relationship. And what Pam said and Natasha, that's the way to build your own network. Use the referrals that other people have used. Because
Yes.
Natasha is not going to recommend to you someone that, did her wrong. Is because she's had a relationship with them. Pam is not going to do that. Neither would I. So,
That's
any
it.
one of us will tell you, this is what we use. This is why. This is
Right.
what the
And
point of contact.
workplace, for those of you who do not have people in your state with you, workplace is a great resource. I've used it repeatedly. Hey, do you know XYZ? I've sent my mentees there. Somebody had asked me about a well, I live in between suburban and rural. So they asked me about a well inspector. Well, I have never closed a house where I had to have the well inspected. So I don't know. So, hey, put it on a workplace,
Yeah.
And workplace is a great resource. You utilize it. If you don't know, and your mentor doesn't know, or your group doesn't know, put it in workplace. It's an easy, again,
Yeah.
don't reinvent the wheel. Make it as simple as possible to accomplish the goals that you're getting to. And don't spend too much time. I mean, I wasted a lot of time trying to reinvent the wheel. So I'm telling you from experience, do not reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Ask
Yeah.
Yes.
questions.
And don't wait till the last minute. I think it was Rod talked about adding things to your calendar, so that you can track the days that you have to do certain things. Read those contracts. Not everything in every state starts on the day of ratification. Some is the day after, after the contract is ratified. Read the contract. You're gonna need well and septic when you're putting in the offer. Ask the question when you're putting in the offer. As if you're going to get a ratified contract, and you need to know those people before.
That's
Then
good.
you're not scrambling so hard.
Absolutely critical.
Yes.
An agent did not have a mentor call me and literally lost their client's EMD, I believe, would have lost
Wow.
because they got asked that. They thought, well, I didn't know. I was like, who's your mentor? Oh, well, I don't want. Well, I'm like, yeah, you're out of luck. You wanted to fly solo and you didn't ask questions and and those dates are critical. You miss it, you're going to get screwed over. And there are agents out there who do not have integrity, who will look at your agent number, know that you're a new agent, and try to blow smoke in your face. You have to be alert. You have to be very, very diligent. I've had it done to me. I was absolutely furious, but I learned those lessons learned, so that I will never do that again. Pay attention to those dates. Pay attention to, in Atlanta, in Georgia, we call it due diligence date. That's the date, your EMD. You've got to pay attention to those dates, put it on your calendar, mark it so that you are staying on top of it until you get a transaction coordinator. My transaction coordinator and I are best friends now. I love her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is your best friend. That's awesome. The only difference, guys, is new construction. Somebody want to talk about new construction? The title company, lenders, kind of all kind of.
I'll comment on that because I do a lot of new construction, but I also have had an opportunity where my client did not want to use the builder's lender and the builder's title company. And mentees will ask the question, do I need to call them? Do I need to talk to them? The answer is always yes. You need to talk to everybody who's a part of the transaction. The benefit for buyers that are buying new construction is you. You're the one that's going to be pushing the envelope. You're the one that's going to be connecting with everyone. My issue happened with my buyer said, I don't want to use their lender. I'm going to get a better deal. That was fine. It was great with the lender. However, when we were working with Ryan Holmes, by the way, by the time we were talking about changing the title company, NVR, who is Ryan Holmes' title company, did not want to communicate with the title company that my client had chosen. Wow. I spent many hours. Hey, y'all got to get this over to the title company. Well, who do I need to talk to? Who's your boss? I don't need to talk to you. You're not helping me. You know, so it was me, the builder, the site manager, all going up to try and make sure that this title company got the information from the builder that they needed to get to my client's title company of choice.
Wow.
It worked out in the end, but it was a lot of hand holding.
Mhm.
So in all matters, whoever's involved in your transaction, the agent, you're managing that. You know, you're like the PM or the project coordinator, the project manager of getting this transaction closing. Yes, you have to talk to all parties, and yes, communicate with your title company. And I will say that someone mentioned about them having processes. It is so great when they can communicate and provide a way of secure communication for documents and things like that. That's one of the things I look for.
Yes. Yes. Good, good. Let's talk about that too, because that's I think more title companies are starting to use that secure portal.
Qualia.
Qualia.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody want to talk about Qualia, you got to make sure you look out for that and get signed up with it, get a login and track it. Like my TC does a lot of that.
Yeah, once you sign up for a one-time and one transaction, it's going to be the same password.
Yes.
Because Quora is all interlinked.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's good.
Okay.
All right, so I gotta speak for Georgia because we don't have Qualia.
Yeah.
You know, and some attorneys will have login portals, some don't. Again, you want to know who, for the attorneys, they will have a single point of contact that's your, it's that coordinator that is coordinating with the deal. Make sure you're communicating with them. And that you're following up with the emails they send out, because they'll ask for the buyer information or seller contact information, and that you're providing that information in a timely manner, and you're following up on closing dates, closing times, and coordinating with the other side to ensure that you guys are maintaining that open lines of communication. That's going to be crucial to you closing on time as well, because if they have not pulled title, you know, I was following up on my commercial deal. Hey, what's the status of the title work on this building? You know, so that's the type of stuff. I had a problem with the attorney, and I'll never use that attorney again. With communicating, hey, where's the title work done? Is it all done? And we did a remote closing, but it was just not smooth. You know, I was frustrated all the way through the process. My clients were frustrated. So again, like Pam said, you're the project manager. You're there to remove the stress from your client. You've got to own the process. Do not take it for granted that, you know, everyone is professional on these transactions. Everyone, just assume that they're not, and you own it.
That's good.
Yes.
Can I
All right.
backtrack
Just to
a
add to
little
that,
bit?
Natasha, add to that is that when you're looking at emails going between title, lender, and your CC, you should be CC'd on everything anyway, whether it's through Qualia, through a secure portal, or, you know, emails. Chime in, make acknowledgement, reach out to your client, because a lot of times people are busy, and just because you see emails going back and forth, sometimes everybody may not be clear on the information that's being transmitted. You know, maybe if the settlement date's moved up, or they need some more, you know, something came up as far as a condition or something like that. Make sure that you stay in that transaction. You see something come up, acknowledge it, reach out to your client, reach out to the lender, make sure you got clarification, because a lot of times, if, you know, emails can go back and forth, and then what happens when it gets close to settlement, there was, you know, one party would say, well, I sent this back at this time, and you acknowledge this. And you just want to make sure that you're not at the 11th hour finding out that something, somebody didn't have a clear understanding of a date, a condition, or, you know, they need to wire funds or something to everybody, because you're the one managing that transaction, getting it to closing. So you're quarterbacking that whole transaction the whole time, from the beginning all the way until the end of that transaction is closed.
Good, guys. Okay. Joy, I think Joy was saying something. Joy and Jimmy.
Yeah. I was just going to say as far as a lot of times agents will ask, what's the benefit of using the loan officer for the builder and the loan officer for the seller. I mean, for the builder, or, using your own loan officer. And I explained that it's their choice. However, if something becomes late and you're using their lender and you have to pay for an extension, a lot of times you can negotiate that as their agent and say, hey, no, we use your lender, we use your people in order for this, so my client doesn't have to pay, shouldn't have to pay for that. So that's one of the I say that's one of the benefits of when you do work with them, but it's their decision whether they want to work with the lender or title company. Also, they usually give benefits or incentives when you do use them. So that's all I wanted to say.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you. One more, move to the next.
Yeah, very valid point. No, I wanted to quickly, because Mr. Farmer put a comment in there. What we were saying that you missed was this. Research your town, city, state, find out what they use, and find out, have a conversation with the top three, whether it's a title company or an attorney, whether it's a title state or an attorney state, go have a conversation with them so you can build a relationship. The second thing was go into workplace and post questions in there. That's a good resource for you as well to find out, what kind of title company or attorneys that you should be working with when it comes to your clients.
Yeah, and in workplace, it's the state group and or the water cooler group. Either one of those is a great place to ask that question.
Hey guys, do it today. Don't wait. Don't put it off.
Don't wait. Yeah.
Wait till you get a contract. Go ahead and build your team. Like I think I just said, your team now. This is your team.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it now. Reach out to somebody, make sure and get extra referrals.
Hey, Rod, I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
On our Mighty Networks, we have a section for new agents. I have some great informational documents from a title company about the definitions of all of those things that they do for a client. I need to post it somewhere. Is that the best place?
Yeah, you can post it there, and also you can post it for the larger group also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you just put it in Agent Academy, just the people in the Agent Academy will get it. So if you can do it in both places.
Okay, I'll put it in both places.
Yep, for everybody, and then just the ones in the group.
All right.
Yeah, I just want to add something real quick. When it comes to dealing with the title company, and it kind of reiterate.
Yeah.
What's that, Jimmy? Jason, I mean.
Yeah, we lost you.
Oh, no, what happened?
Jason, we can't hear you, Jason.
Uh-oh, we lost her. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, guys. I think everybody good on title now.
This is Corliss. Can I ask a quick question? You guys said in terms of building your team, who are the top 5 entities or people that need to be on your team?
Good question. Good question.
Title company.
Title company. Lenders, home inspection, and have a couple of home inspectors. Have 2 or 3 home inspectors. Have 2 or 3 lenders as well.
Yes.
2 or 3. I think 2 or 3 everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
a good contractor.
Good contractor.
If that's something you're gonna do with your business, to know who to call.
Yep.
Do you generally get a home inspector on a new build as well?
Yes.
Recommended.
Yes. Always recommended. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I am a total advocate for recommending that. I did a whole video on that, on why you want to have a pre-drywall inspection as well as an inspection, because a lot of these builders are using subcontractors and they may not be thoroughly inspecting the things that you as a client, you're looking at the beauty and the aesthetic of what they built.
Yes.
And these people are going to go through. You don't know that half the outlets on that side of the house don't work until you move in. So you want a home inspection.
And let them know that you're planning to do a home inspection. They'll tell you at what stage you can come in. It's 2 different stages actually. You come in a pre-drywall and then after.
After drywall.
Yeah, let them know, because they if it was up to them, they just want to go ahead and get this thing done.
Yeah.
And, one and done and go to settlement, but slow them down. Let them know.
That lets them know that you're going to be very diligent about their product too. So it does kind of put them on notice that, hey, you better get everything done because we're going to check and recheck. So it's always a good thing to have a home inspector.
And can I say, one of my mentees was buying a new construction. The selling agent talked her out of getting an inspection done, saying, hey, I worked with this building, yada, yada, yada. I said, Marty, get an inspection done. She's like, no, well, the other agent said it's it'll be fine. I was like, okay. And so after she moved in, she had plumbing issues, electrical issues, and being the great mentor that I am, I just said, I told you so.
You were supposed to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One thing, I think that one great thing about our team is, we got so much experience amongst us. We're not going to tell you the wrong thing.
Yeah.
We're not. It's a trust thing. You need to trust that we're going to tell you the right thing.
Also get an inspection, telling them to schedule their inspection at least a year before. Have it on their calendar to make sure they do the inspection a year just before their, because they get that year in. So make sure that's on their calendar. So I tell them to go ahead and schedule an inspection with the inspector just before their year is up. That way they can bring everybody back in for, the big stuff and the nail pops and the little stuff.
Oh,
absolutely.
Hold on real quick. Natasha, you need to have your camera on when you say that. We want to see your face.
Listen, I don't have my hair done today, so I look pretty crazy, but I told you so.
Number two, Pam, because you do a lot, and team as well, you guys do a lot of new construction. Please reiterate that. When are the best times to get the home inspection or the home inspector involved in the process?
Yes, pre-drywall and after.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, for example, my last new construction, my client bought a spec home. All right. Now, I don't know about how y'all do it, but I'm the girl that traveled with the blue tape. I believe in the blue tape. When we went to do our walkthrough, the house was already built. We never got the opportunity for pre-drywall. All right. So we're walking through the house, and just because I do it so much, there are things I noticed. And my client was like, well, I didn't see that. And I didn't see that. I said, well, that's why I'm here. And when I told the builder, hey, we walked through and we saw a couple things, and we are having an inspection. My client is hiring an inspector. And it was like, oh, really? I'm like, absolutely. And I noticed a few things. When are you guys going to be ready for my inspector to go through?
Yep.
All right. I established that from the beginning. We were having an inspection. I asked for the timeline, and I told him I would let you know at least 48 hours in advance of when our appointment will be.
Pre and post.
Pre and post. I would normally do it pre-drywall and pre-closing.
Yeah, that final walkthrough.
You can't fix any issues or get corrections.
To the demonstration appointment. Yeah.
The demonstration appointment, exactly.
Yeah, prior to.
Yeah.
So we're gonna plan to do a session just like this on new construction. Okay, guys. We remember a couple of years ago we did class on it. So we'll do one just on new construction.
Can I ask a quick question then? Is it the regular inspectors that you use for the new home, or is that differences?
Yes, same ones.
Same ones. Okay.
Can I say here in Georgia, some of the builders require an ACSI certified inspector.
They all do.
Yeah.
For a regular inspection, like for a home inspector for a resale, I can use someone that's not ACSI certified. But for a new construction, a lot of builders, and then they want to know if they have credentials, and they want to see their credentials. So you want to be able to look at their make sure your inspector has those credentials, and you'll be surprised. Very few inspectors. I've got 4 of my preferred inspectors, only 2 of them actually have those credentials. And so you want to make sure they have those credentials and that they are ACSI certified.
The Fishers just did one for me recently. Y'all know Addie and what's his name? Yeah.
Addie and Jim.
Jim, yeah, they did great job, phenomenal job, and they had all the builder was familiar with them as well. They worked together, you know, they were familiar with them. So, oh yeah, let them come in. They did a very thorough job. My client was very happy.
Yeah, I've used them as well.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's move on here. So, you know, once you go on the contract, you want to email the contract to the title company. I know it's little things that, you know, the experienced agent we take for granted, but a lot of newer agents, they need to know you got to send it to the title company, whoever that rep is at the title company, whatever email address or person they said to send it to. That's when you're talking to them, you want to find out, okay, if I get a contract, who do I send it to? So you want to deliver it to the title company, and also you want to send it to the loan officer. If you represent the buyer, you got to send that ratified contract to the loan officer.
Hey, can I stick one thing right there?
Ma'am.
Prayerfully, as the agent representing the buyer, before you submit the offer, you have already talked to the loan officer about the number of days it would take them to approve this transaction. All right, because if you're going to make an offer and you're going to just arbitrarily stick 25 days in there, that does not mean that your loan officer can bring that contract close in 25 days. You should know from your loan officer, how long is it going to take for you to get this through your underwriting and approve this loan? Call those people in advance so that your contract, when you're looking at ratifying, if it takes a couple more days than you anticipate, you know, they say we're going to accept the offer, but it's 2 or 3 days to get the signature. You talk to the loan officer so you'll know if you need to modify that end date from the beginning.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Man, okay. With that, Pam, so what if we get down to the 20, we wrote 25 days in there, we're down to the 23rd, and Linda said, man, I can't get it done. We need a couple more days. It's Thanksgiving. Everybody's out. What do we do?
Now we're talking about sales contract addendum. We got to change that closing date. And you have to have a conversation with that listing agent on the other side, you know, because these things can be complicated if that seller is doing something else on the other side. You know, one of the most, I want to say convoluted transactions I had was my buyer was selling and the seller on the other side of the house they were buying was buying. 4 transactions in one. It's a lot of moving pieces. You got to have conversations.
Yeah, that's good.
And for Georgia, it's just an amendment to the contract. You can amend the financial contingency and extend it to, you can also, we also have a unilateral extension for the closing date. You can use that here in Georgia. That is always my fallback. If the seller does not want to extend the closing date, you have an 8-day unilateral here in Georgia. You take advantage of it if you need to.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
I wish we had that.
Yeah.
You can pull an 8-day unilateral and extend it 8 days. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The only thing you probably can use in Maryland will be the COVID-19.
Yeah. That's still in play.
In place?
It's still in place. Yeah.
It's still in play, yeah.
It's still in place.
That's
Automatic 7 or 14 days, depending on what's in there. Well, yeah.
But communication.
What everybody's talking about is communication, though. That's key.
Yeah. If you need more time to communicate. Yes, sir.
Hey, and what I do is when I write an offer, I always CC my lender. When I send that offer out, I send it to the listing agent if I'm on the buyer side, and I CC the lender, and I have the lender's information at the bottom. My last line is, contact the lender below to verify the strength of my buyer, blah blah. I put that line in there, and that way the lender's already got a heads up. That way if he sees something on there with that offer, I've already talked to him about, when can they close? How long it's going to take? It's going to take 25 days or 30 days. I already had that conversation, but I also send him that offer, so that way if he see it and something is not, the numbers don't work, that lender can say, hey Tim, all right, I see this offer. I think we can do this. We'll be good to go. And that way they got a heads up that listing agent is probably going to give them a call when they see that number from that contract. They're already going to know that listing agent's number. They're gonna know who that person is. And sometimes they even look, the lender likes getting a heads up because they may have already worked with that agent and they may have a relationship with that agent. They say, oh yeah, I know Jackie. Yeah, she's a good agent. Okay, when you come over to me, I'm gonna talk to her, and it'll make a world of difference in your contract getting accepted as
Absolutely.
well. You know that's a solid lender.
That's good, Tim. Good point. Good point.
Can I say this? Your goal as an agent, especially on the buyer side, protect the EMD. Every time I protect your client's EMD, it is your job, it is your fiduciary responsibility to protect that EMD. If you're seeing that financial contingency date is expiring, it is, you do not have underwriting approval and you know there are issues going on or whatever the case may be, have that conversation ahead of time with the seller's agent, the listing agent, and just say, hey, we've got some other things we're working on. We are, my loan offer is confident we're closing, but it's still stuck in underwriting. Can we please go ahead and extend the financial contingency? I'm sending you an extension. Protect your clients, EMD, because if for any reason that you've got some craziness come up at the last minute, which I've seen it happen, and the loan doesn't go through, your client can at least get back the EMD. So I want you want to make that your goal in life. Protect your client's EMD.
That's good.
Yes.
Good point. Good point. And on that note too, with the finance guys, in this market with the rates, before you ratify, make sure your client knows what that monthly payment is going to be.
Oh, yes.
Make sure they know. Yeah, you have to make sure. I almost had one fall apart because we were about to ratify and they really hadn't communicated. He sent the, what they call it, the net sheet, the estimate, but they didn't really open it up and look at all them numbers on it. First time home buyer. And it wasn't clear that, whoa, this is what the payment's going to be. They're expecting, they're going out mortgage calculators to have 4% in there and all that. No, rates are 7.25. It's over 1,000 more. So confirm that. Yes, Jimmy.
No, I wasn't. Okay. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. Before you ratify, make sure everybody's level set. We know what that monthly payment, that rate is going to be. Okay. Email ratified copy to transaction coordinator, guys. And I know Cordes asked who else on the team. That transaction coordinator, that's that other person on my team. That's the closest, my best friend right there.
Yes.
Transaction coordinator, if you have an admin. I've always been an advocate, guys, of a transaction coordinator. You don't have to be top producer, icon, agent, capper. I say get one from the get-go. In the beginning, so you can focus on money-making activities.
Can I say,
learn first, but go ahead, Natasha.
Rod, I wish I had listened to you in the first place because I'm telling you, I produce more because I have a transaction coordinator.
Yes.
And I just got an admin, and I think my production is about to skyrocket because I was looking at the cost versus looking at it as an investment.
Yes.
Time, energy, and money is going to save me because just taking certain things off my plate, and I'm busy as it is. I've got 10 million things running simultaneously. So don't wait on getting a TC. Let me tell you, you will thank everybody. I thank Rod every day I send something.
Absolutely.
I should have been done this.
Lifesaver.
Yes. Even Tanya just got into business. I think she already hired her virtual assistant. A transaction coordinator.
And TCs get paid at close. So once you close on that transaction, that comes off the closing cost. So don't be so focused on how much they cost, but
it's the cost of doing business
that they bring.
Cost of doing business. It's a write-off.
Cost of doing business.
Yes. So, all right. Ensure deposit is made, guys. Deposits are very critical in contract. You got to make sure your buyer delivers that deposit, wires it, or drops off a check to that title company. Keep your hands off checks. Don't touch checks. Don't touch checks, guys. Back in the day, we don't hardly deal with checks like we used to back in the day. You had a check sitting on your desk and you look at that contract. Ooh, I done missed. It was supposed to be turned in within 5 days and it's still sitting on my desk. Guys, you can lose your license over checks.
Yes.
don't just keep your hands off checks and just have them wire, but make sure it happens. Again, you're the project manager. You're managing this whole deal. You got to make sure it happens. Anybody want to talk about it?
Can I say this? I make it, I think I heard it on this call, and I make it a practice now because I've had a deal almost fall apart because of this. Get your client in the habit of wiring funds, because
Yes.
they're like, well, I don't want to pay the wire fee. Well, I'm telling you, it's worth it, because when they have to wire funds at the end, before closing, they at least have done it when they wire the EMD. And if they don't do that, you will fall into situation. I had a client who took a check to the office, even though I said to wire the funds. And when it came to wiring the funds for closing, they sent it by ACH. They had $150,000 tied up in ACH for over a month. Over
that is
a month.
huge.
And it was great. The only way that we could close is because they had to wire another $150,000.
Wow.
So that we can close. And it's thankfully that they had it. But if they had followed my instruction out the gate and wired the EMD, they would have gotten in the habit of wiring the EMD and saved everybody heartache, and aggravation. So
that is huge.
Get and communicate that to your client out the gate. You want to develop this it only costs you $35. Go to the bank and wire the funds. Do not do it online. Some of these banks will screw it up and get it wrong and go to the bank. So that's something that's a hard and fast thing that I try to encourage all of my clients to do. Wire the funds, wire the funds, wire the funds.
Actually,
go ahead, Jimmy.
I think it's actually a Patriots Act thing.
It is. It is.
Yeah, you buying a house, it needs to be a wire transfer.
Yeah. And another thing that brought up for me, part of my system is when I'm getting a buyer on board, I have the conversation about the EMD at the beginning. How much money can you put towards your earnest deposit? And where is it coming from? How long would it take you to get it? Because when you're doing that contract, and you can't just arbitrarily say, oh, my client's gonna pay the EMD in 3 days after contract ratification. What if they need 5?
Right.
So you need to, at the beginning, put their mind towards this money needs to be ready when we're getting ready to submit the contract, the offer. So that you'll know in advance. All those things hold up your process and getting the offer to that listing agent.
And that's part of your buyer consultation, guys, initially.
Yes.
Part of that buyer consult. Talking about deposit, what's comfortable for you? In this market, usually 1%. Can you do 1%? But you try to find out what's comfortable for them.
Yeah.
But also what's going to be competitive. And what's common in this market. They can't come with like $100 deposit, $500 deposit in the Northern Virginia and try to get a house. So you got to be, you got to educate them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had an agent tell me, well, I only do $1,000 EMDs. I was like, well, good luck with that.
Good luck getting the offer.
I was like, okay, not on a $300,000 house. I need you to do at least 1%.
Hey, can I put this in there? Because this was a dumb situation. Make sure you, like we keep saying, wire. Well, I had a client that they did their EMD by way of, I guess, an app on their phone. And however, you can do different stuff with, your Wells Fargo, whatever, but it's not going to be over, I think it's $3,000. So their EMD, they said they did their EMD that way and they thought they was safe. I thought they wired it, but they actually did an app over their phone. So when we got to closing day and we were saying, did you wire your funds? They were like, yeah, I did it the same way I wired it. It turned out they didn't wire it because you can't wire a certain amount through an app or your Wells Fargo. It has to be, I don't know what that's called, but it's not wiring. So I always say, go to the bank, like Natasha and everybody said, and wire your funds. Don't do it over a phone app. It's not going to go through.
It's an ACH transfer. And yes, again, if you don't go to the bank, you can get pictures here. You can do, and even on the app, just one slip, and the banks have it so confusing that it's not easy for your clients to understand. I'm telling you, I've seen it done so many times. I'm like, oh no, go to the bank. I know it's a pain, but take some time off work and walk yourself into the bank or make an appointment and go see a banker.
Right.
Just real quick, Maryland agents, there's a state meeting at 9 o'clock. So if you're in Maryland, you need to be in the state meeting at 9.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, guys. So best to let title company hold the deposit instead of the real estate company, guys. Don't let them come. You look at your contracts. If you're on the listing side, EMD, EXP, I heard we're getting ready. I heard something about an escrow account that we might be having.
We're launching that
We
I
already
think
have it,
pretty
I think.
soon. There, it's only in certain areas right now.
Gotcha. In certain areas, right? But guys, if you're if you're on the listing side, look, review that contract. You don't want that real estate company holding it. You want that neutral third party, the title company or the settlement company holding that deposit. Okay. Update your listing. So if you're on the listing side, you go into contract, update it, and put that other listing agent's information into the MLS. If represent the buyer, the listing agent will update it with your info. And then upload it to SkySlope. Go through the SkySlope training, guys. If you haven't done so, go through SkySlope training or get in there and play around with it. But watch the training, watch some videos. It'll show you how to upload that SkySlope. I think is it in 48 hours? Is that correct? I put 48 hours. I think it was.
Yeah, it's got to be up in 48 hours.
48. Okay.
Technically, but
Gotcha. Okay, guys. Man, I think we're gonna stop here. We didn't really get next week. We'll get into home inspections and financing contingencies, appraisal contingency. We'll do a deep dive into all this, guys. Deep dive into home warranties and managing the transaction. And deep dive into home inspection, you know, watching the number of days, choosing a good inspector, providing them with an estimate. You know, bring snacks, these are things that you don't know. If it's a vacant house, you want to bring some snacks. You want to bring some TP, guys. It's my emergency. I got a whole kit that I bring for a home inspection. So we'll talk about that next week, guys. Let's get some feedback. What's some takeaways? Was this good, guys? Was this helpful for anybody?
Yes, my name's Alicia. I'm a new agent as far as August. So this was extremely helpful for me and I feel encouraged and I'm just, I really appreciate the wealth of knowledge and the support. So thank you so much for the information today.
Oh, our pleasure, Alicia. You're a VIP. You Michael Sharp's better have.
But I appreciate it. This is very helpful and everyone had, really helpful advice and great takeaways. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing the wealth of knowledge. This was such a enlightening and eye-opening meeting for me. I'm very new to this. And again, thank you for sharing and thank you for lending this opportunity for all of us. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for being on. Pass the word. Get the word out, guys. Every Tuesday we're here at 8 a.m. So pass the word, even when you're talking to other agents that are looking at EXP that are new to the business. Tell them we have within the Legacy Builders Global and the Dream Team, we have a new agent boot camp, guys, academy where we're on every Tuesday, just talking about issues, here to answer any questions anybody has. Also, Dream Team, we have our WhatsApp group. So if you have any questions, just put it in the WhatsApp. You're welcome to reach out to myself or any of the other leaders on. That's just the culture that we have. You can reach out to anybody. And also the Mighty Networks, Dream Team, we have our Mighty Networks and look for information out there, resources. All right. Wanted to say hi to Tasha again. Tasha is a guest of Linda. So glad to have you on, Tasha. Thank you for joining. This is the Dream Team and Legacy Builders. It's our family. She's looking at EXP. So she's also a White House, guys. She was retired Army, worked at the White House. So you know the caliber of soldier she is. And I want to introduce you to Pam too eventually. Pam's also Army, retired.
Hey, Tasha, welcome.
Came from Keller Williams. Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
We can now.
Now we can.
Okay. My phone is acting up, but thank you. This was great and very informative.
Good. All right, Tasha. Well, welcome, and we'll connect later this afternoon.
Thank you. Everybody have a good day.
Okay, thank you. All right, y'all. Have a blessed one.
You.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Dream Team, we'll see y'all tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank y'all.